Good evening, everybody. How are you? I'm starting even though no one's here. I've got a guest tonight. This is a first for me. Normally I do these, I just tell a couple of stories about what's happened this week, and then a little bit of talking about the past and people that I've known. And someone that I've talked about a lot on here is actually with me tonight for a chat. My dear friend, the Barefoot Doctor, who was when I met him, well, he's still now, but when I met him was the counterculture figure of the 90s. He is an amazing, I say like he's gone, he's here. But he was like a huge counterculture figure in the 90s. I got his book before I met him and read it, and it just changed my life. You know when you're reading something and it was like zip files going off in your brain, it was that kind of effect. Then I'm just so lucky that I got to meet him and I got to know him. We've been around the world together a couple of times doing things. I've been to a lot of his, hanging out with him, talking. All sorts, so wise. He's an expert in pretty much every religion there is, but particularly Taoism, and a bit of radical psychotherapy, if that's your bag. Very radical. We're going to get into a bit of that, bit of the old mental health. We can get some weird stuff. We're going to rip open a portal in the fabric of reality tonight for a deep dive into Taoism and madness and mental health and anything else we can think of. Possibly the current scene, what's going on in the world. Who knows where this is going to go? But I'm pleased that you're here. Please welcome my special guest for the evening. Somebody give me a talk show. Please welcome my special guest for the evening, the Taoist thunder wizard himself, the Barefoot Doctor, everybody, Stephen Russell. Here we go.
I better move myself into shot.
Let's get into shot. This is how it works here. It's low tech here at Buckler Studios. I've yet to work out how to do that split screen. So people are turning up. We've got Katie's in. Hello, Katie. Hello, Anita. Holly's here. Ben L52. It's going to be a cracker. Here's Brenda coming in behind us.
Hello, my friends.
Brenda, you're live to the internet.
Hello, internet.
This is Brenda, the housemate, who's come down to smoke a cigarette and didn't realise that I'd turned her front room into a studio. So,
Brenda is a guru. You're a guru. I've only just met her, but she has the wisdom.
That's right. We all have wisdom here amongst us all, us three.
See, that was a very guru-ish wise thing to say, was it not?
That happened. Yeah. Sweet. So, where do we start? What are you up to, Doctor?
I am up to AmpedHEAD.
AmpedHEAD. Tell us about Let's start off with AmpedHEAD then. Let's get into that.
Oh, AmpedHEAD. So, yeah, it's, well, if you could look at it from the point of view of brain entrainment technology, which sounds really scientific. Well, it is. It's music. I'm a music producer primarily, and it's amazing electronic, kind of house music, but with frequency design that I developed over the last 800 years, and about the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Using subliminals and a top-line narrative of, you want to change the internal narrative in your forebrain.
Yeah.
Because by doing that, you change your description of reality, and then reality starts to behave differently towards you.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're
real magic, in other words.
It's real magic, all done as affirmations, though. So that it's not like, look, you relax now, and I'll do this with you. It's I am relaxing, and I'm feeling really good being here. This feels like my voice talking in my head. So it works like that. And I started off with 3 volumes, so 6 hours each. It's 18 hours of music, basically, that a lot of people have done, and they're really powerful. It changes you. It's like proper transformational. Then it was like, okay, because that was expensive for people to buy. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
My passion, I hate that word because everyone's clichéing it now. No, but I mean, genuinely, my true desire, my impulse is to help people of roughly about 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Mostly because although I am 65, and you would think that you should be a lot more mature by now. But
indeed. Yeah.
Immaturity is actually the key to staying pretty young. You know?
That's the model I'm going with.
Yeah. But I haven't grown past 18. I've only just got to 18.
Yeah.
And to me, that's it. Because when you're 18, that's you're in the fullness of your beautiful self. The rest of it is just learning the skills that you need so you can use your 18-year-oldness to enjoy life properly, and just in a hedonistic way, but in a way that will serve everyone.
Yeah.
And so but anyway, I'm really drawn. I don't even know, but that's just my rationalisation of it. Really drawn because I want to help people at that age because it's a really hard place to be right now.
Right now it is. It's just an appalling place to be.
Well, it's not appalling. It's hard. I mean, it's appalling.
Well, appalling is a bit strong. Yeah, Victorian England, that was appalling, and there was no beats then.
Well, no, but it's all relative because if you were having it up in the Victorian era, you would love it. It would be great, right?
That's always the fantasy. I always think if I was born in Victorian times, I'd be like Sherlock Holmes swanning about, as opposed to a gutter snipe desperately busking in the corner of Piccadilly. By the way, if anyone's got any questions, fire them up and I'll have a look at the end. And if you've got any questions or anything about what we talk about tonight or just in life in general, have them ready. But I've seen you do this live with this thing in club sets when you've been DJing.
Yeah.
And you've it's almost like free drugs almost. Like you've guided these young people into a very healthy, happy state. And you've done it just with language and with beats and with tunes.
Well, doing it. So anyway, so after the volumes, I've now created nearly 200 of what I call microdoses, which are 3-minute tracks, to go out on general release so that you get them like you would any other track.
iTunes.
And everywhere, Spotify and all the whole things, just so they're available for everybody. And we're about to launch the label. It's called NUKTRAX, which is Neural Unlock Key. I'll tell you how that came about, because everything comes about by guidance, right? I live in Spain, in an old 5,000-year-old town, originally Phoenician, on a hill, Andalusia, overlooking the sea, very beautiful. There's no Ibiza stuff going on there. There's nobody showing off or anything like that. No style, in a way, but a lot of emotional intelligence there. And I seek guidance, so I come out of the studio. And I'm thinking, all right, what's the name for the record label? And it says, look, there. And I see in this window, it was like a paint brand or something called Nook. And it went, that's it. I said, Nook. Why Nook? Why stupid name, Nook? It goes, Neural Unlock Key. I was like, yeah.
There you go.
NUKTRAX is the label. Got an amazing woman running it. And that's starting. And then we'll be doing an app and gigs and the whole thing, you know.
So you can do it live?
Well, yeah, that's my pack. That's what I love doing. I love doing it live. You know me, I love doing it live.
But you're amazing live. I've seen you riff for like an hour and a half straight on like everything.
Yeah, I love doing it live. But I mean, it's not because of what. For me, I love the feeling of giving something to people, especially when like I'm giving to you now. I love you, man, and like I give it to you and to you watching. And the more of us that I'm giving to, and then you get that energy back. It's beautiful doing that. You're a guru, do you know that?
Bye, friends.
Bye.
See you later. Brenda, the housemate there. But that's coming back because a lot of people watch this. A lot of performers watch these, also I've no idea what to target these at anymore. But I get a lot of performers, mainly magicians, stand-up magicians, close-up magicians, and we talk about the tricks and stuff. But I try and get into the stuff behind that. What's actually going on in the exchange when you're doing a magic trick for someone? That idea of when you're sharing, a moment.
Well, I have to say, some of the times that I've been with you when you've been doing magic have been the most exciting and arresting moments of my life, in fact.
For real?
For real. No,
hey.
No, you're amazing. I mean, I remember I did a retreat in Oswestry near Wales.
The Tai Chi one? Back in the day, or
no, in England, in England.
Yeah.
And there was, I don't know, about 40, 50, 60 people, whatever there. And then the Saturday night, you did a show. Do you remember?
I do.
Oh, it was amazing.
Was that when the mad woman tried to bite my ear off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it was, that was Wales. No.
That was Wales.
Yeah, no, this was, and you like made things appear under people's seats and stuff that were ages away from you. And I don't know how you did it. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh, I've got my methods.
Yeah, you got your methods, and it's just that a suspension of belief, the suspension of normal reality.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know how you do the tricks. It's fascinating to me though, that moment of how that thing.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
That's what me and my friend Ben talk about this a lot. Ben he's a sleight of hand artist.
Yeah.
He's known to the people on it. But he's got this ability to create that sense of there's tricks happening. He's not got powers, but nor have I. But thank you. If I have any powers, they're in performance. But it's the idea of hacking reality so that you edit out of people's perception the bit where the thing happened.
Yes.
So their perception is that they've seen magic. They've seen the card change. They've seen the card appear somewhere impossible.
Yeah.
Because what's actually happened is I've done something and I've managed to hack out the bit
Yeah.
where the mechanics took place.
It's no different from creating a musical track, because you're creating an illusion. You're creating a universe out of digital sounds. It's an illusion, you know.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same in a way. You know?
But I've seen you do that to a room when you're performing your stuff. You know, you kind of create the genuine felt sense that the space you're in is magical.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Because it is.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm using a lot, because this is in one of the amp volumes, is it's a miracle. Everything is a miracle.
Right.
And if I start to remind myself, this is a miracle that I can think, speak, talk, look at you be there, you're a miracle. Life, look at this is a miracle. The fact that there's anything, this is a miracle. And the more I think that, the more kind of miraculous stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
Because you get into a miracle mindset. It's a miracle.
But you do get, like, because I mean, you're the right side of
800 years old.
Of 800 years old. But you're the right side of mad. Like, it's not literally just, if I sit in a room and think about a car, it will appear. It's not that kind of demented. But it's, you have magic. You create things, and those things lead to other things. It's like living in almost like a magical space, but you're still creating stuff practically. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
like
I do my best.
The tunes and the thing and the books and the,
you know,
there's
making something out of nothing.
Yeah, and then.
But I do feel that with that, it really feels. My experience of it is that something's coming through that I'm serving, and when I'm making music, there's a committee that I don't get into really getting into describing it to myself, because I think that would be just rude. You don't want to pry. They're just there. I can feel them as maybe a couple of producer people, a couple of I don't know, a guy that I know, one of the guys that is there, because he bequeathed me some frequencies and a guitar when he died. Yeah. And I know that I can feel them there, and they go okay, it's that preset on that synth there, and I go to it, and it is. It's like, wow. Okay, and then and the track's done. And it's like, how did that happen? Wow. Yeah. And it's funky and it's cool. It's like, ooh, and it's like I'm following guidance.
Yeah. That's what, because a lot of people that come to these, it's about, hey, Craigie, come. A lot of people that come to these, it's about, what I talk about is the creativity and where ideas come from. Yeah. And this idea of and you've got some superb techniques for tuning into the I always end up just pointing back there, but the great invisible thing where and
so have you.
Thank you very much. It's like, without getting too mental, but the idea that, this cup started out as clay, and that clay was moulded by hands, and those hands were connected to a brain where the idea of the cup was, and then you keep going back and back. Well, where did the idea to make the cup come from? And it just sort of popped into the guy's head, but where's that invisible space that it popped from? And that's where the best ideas come from, and you kind of tune the instrument, if you like, to facilitate the ideas coming from the great big nothing. But you've got some great ways of doing that with music and everything, speech.
How about that it's already all been manifested in some dimension? It's already done, and all we've got to do is discern what's there and then translate it into this dimension.
It feels like that.
It feels
when I'm doing it sometimes, I'll be when I'm writing a show particularly, I'll kind of feel like the show's already been written somewhere, and I'm just downloading it.
As best you can.
And my job is to get out of the way. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because most of my shows now are quite spontaneous, but when I try and write something, that's how I kind of go about it. Yeah. As best I can.
And then what we do, we all of us, we craft. That's our job, is to craft what comes through us as best we can into something that will resonate with other people. Yeah. To help. Yeah. For me, it's to help anyway. It doesn't have to be to help, I suppose. It could be for anything, really. But for my thing is, and I think with you, it's to help, because you want to make people laugh and feel happy and feel the wonder of life, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Ultimately, and make a few quid out of it.
Yeah, but why not?
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That's the thing. I mean, the whole money thing is fascinating, because money is energy, as we know. Yeah. Or it's a symbol of energy. Yeah. It's like saying, I give you this, you give me that. Yeah. On this piece, and that is, and it's something that everybody thinks of as the real world. You don't get much more real world than money. No. Right? And money doesn't actually exist. It's just an idea that we pass around between us.
Yeah, these pieces of paper have no value apart from the value that we've all decided that they've got.
And it's not even pieces of paper anymore.
No, it's numbers on a screen.
Yeah. And so what I'm thinking is really the paradox is that that's what is the symbol of the real world. In fact, it's completely imaginary. It's not real at all. But we make it real, and that's part of the magic. This imaginary substance, we can then put this bit of plastic on touch it on a thing, and then we can do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've only got so many dots on the screen to do certain things with.
And sometimes more dots than others.
Yeah.
And it's the times when there's no dots suddenly that it gets really interesting.
When there's no dots.
When there's no dots left.
What happens when there's no dots, Doctor?
Exactly. What happens when there's no dots? So then it comes back to the thing that my friend Donovan taught me.
Mm-hmm. The Donovan?
No,
Okay.
another Donovan, an old American guy. He goes, I am the king of no matter what. And you know the story of no matter what, the king of no matter what? Do you think they want to know the story of no matter what?
Yeah, tell us that. Tell us the story of the king of no matter what.
Well, there was a kingdom,
Yeah.
a magical kingdom, somewhere high in the mountains. And they ran out of water. There was a drought on. And the fact was that way up the mountain where the spring was that the water came from was, as was described, an old hag, a really powerful old witch. She was a real scary old hag, frightening. And to get to the spring, you had to get past her. And the myth was she wouldn't let you. She turned the water off for whatever reason.
She sounds lovely.
Well, yeah. So the king asked for his bravest knights, and the first knight, the main guy gets on his steed, charges up the mountain, gets to the old hag, and she says, if you want to get to the water, you must embrace me. You must embrace me. And he goes, I will not embrace thee, old hag. And even though he was the dude, she goes, when he flies up the mountain and dies.
Right.
Next guy gets sent up there. Pretty much the same thing happens. No, I will not embrace the hag, and bang, gets thrown off the side. The third night, eventually there's no more brave knights. This stable boy, kind of 16-year-old, puts his hand out and goes, Sire, I'll go. Everyone laughs at him because he's just a kid. What are you going to achieve? They're desperate, so they let him go. He rides up the mountain. He gets to the witch standing by the water, and she goes, if you want to get to this water, you must embrace me. He goes, not only will I embrace thee, I will kiss thee also. And he snogs her, and she transformed back into the beautiful princess of the king, the daughter of the king, who'd a spell been put on her to curse. Blah, blah, blah. They go back down totally in love with each other, and the king says to the boy, now you are the king of no matter what.
The king of no matter what.
Yeah,
nice.
Because that was the town. So basically what Donovan said, he got stuck in Andalusia, the cab had gone, he couldn't get to the airport, up in this mountain village.
Yeah.
So his whole plans were going up the spout, and he goes, I'm the king of no matter what. In other words, it doesn't matter. I'm the king of no matter what. And within about 5 minutes, in the middle of nowhere, a cab turns up. And he gets to the airport on time.
Good old Donovan.
Yeah.
This happened to me. In fact, this is the year anniversary of it. This very day is the year anniversary of it when I lost my luggage in the Amazon.
You are very exotic with your stories.
I am very. No, I was up. It's what you. No, it's this idea of embracing the Tao, embracing the way, embracing the thing. I went out to the Amazon to join a cruise ship. I got there. My bags didn't. I had to get on the ship. We had to go, so we left without my bags. And with the Amazon, there's nowhere to pick them up. Like most cruise ships, you go to the next port and they send your stuff on. Nowhere to do that. So it's 10 days on this, my Johnny Cash t-shirt, but 10 days on one t-shirt, one pair of trousers, one pair of pants, one pair of socks. And that was it. And I had to do 2 45-minute magic shows as well in the middle of all this madness. And I did it, 10 days.
You smell?
No, I did not, because it was every night I was in the laundrette wearing this is it, because I decided at the moment it happened, I can either curse the dark or light a candle. And for a good half hour, I cursed the dark. I cursed the guy at the airport. I cursed the gods. And I thought, no, don't curse the dark. Light a candle. Turn it into a positive. I did it on air as a live. I did updates on what was happening.
Yeah.
But every night. So I borrowed a robe from somebody, so I go to the laundrette at least and wash my clothes every single night. Did the shows did the 2 shows with just relying on wit. And a deck of cards, and that was it. And that worked really well.
Oh, because you didn't have any of your stuff with you?
None of my stuff. I've got much stuff anyway.
I'll do a trick.
Oh no, not on here. It won't work. Oh, quick. So basically, you are in charge of your own. We've got a question. First one in. So basically, you are in charge of your own destiny. Whatever will be, will be. Everything happens for a reason. All that jazz. That's the way that I live. Best way to be. Yes, it is, Craigie. Craig. Yeah, pretty much. Embrace the Tao. What is the Tao, Doctor? Can you tell us what that actually is?
No one can tell you what the Tao is, but you can't really define it because it is the everything. But as a hint, when you're conceived and you take form as an embryo in the womb,
right,
you embody a consciousness that was already there. And it wasn't like your mum was walking around with a consciousness in her belly.
Okay.
It's somehow or other, this mystery was that there was consciousness, you embodied it. There was energy, you embodied it. You didn't create consciousness, you didn't create energy. That's the Tao.
Right.
And the Tao is the smallest thing you can possibly imagine, and even smaller than that. You know, the God particle, if you want to call it that. It's at the heart of every subatomic particle. There is the Tao. There is the Tao. And therefore it's as big as the whole universe. The Tao is the state of absolute nothing. You know, there is nothing. It's pure potential.
Right.
Nothing's happening. And then how you cannot spend eternity as nothing. So you become something. And as the Tao became something, there was suddenly yin and yang. There were polar opposites. There was the nothing and the something. And the reaction between the two created the 5 elements from which came everything. Now, quantum physicists would give you their version of that, which is pretty similar, in fact. So I don't think it's bullshit by any means. The Tao seems to be very, very switched on to what was going on cosmologically. So the Tao is the potential of everything. It informs all of us and everything. And it's present in every particle of existence, on every dimension. And once it manifests as the yin and the yang. You get the play of opposites. So what we were saying before, you said it's appalling what young people have to face. Yeah, it's also amazing.
Yeah. It's like on the one hand, it's hard to be young right now, but on the other hand, they've got the internet, which I never had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like there's good things happening too. It's not just misery and election and Brexit. There's also the interweb. There's more access to information than there ever has been.
And to each other.
There's this. I mean, I never had this as I'm doing this now at the ripe old age of 46. But the idea that when they won't give you a TV show. You can do your own thing now, though. Like this is, do you know what I mean? I've got a camera in my phone. We can broadcast like we are now. There's good stuff happening too.
But everything has this mixture of what you call good and bad.
Yeah.
Difficult and easy, dark and light. There has to be one to be the other. That's the yin and the yang. Everything in the manifest realm is subject to the law of yin and yang. You will always have the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I really want loads and loads of money. You get loads and loads of money, and you've got a big responsibility, and people want your money. You didn't have that shit going on before. You would just enjoy being alive. Suddenly, you've got to deal with all this thing. It doesn't matter. Oh, I really want a Ferrari. Oh, it'd be amazing when I get a Ferrari. And what a beautiful thing. I mean, you get a Ferrari, and it's a lovely feeling, but then you're worried about people scratching it.
Yeah.
And not to mention the amount of money you're going to have to spend on servicing it.
Maintaining the thing.
Yeah, so I mean, everything. I really want to be with somebody. I really want to be with somebody. I want to be with somebody. Blah, 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 blah. You meet somebody, you could be totally, absolutely in love with. You then have the responsibility of a person to look after.
Yeah.
And to make sure that they're okay. And the pain if it doesn't work and all the other stuff. Whatever it is, there's always going to be the both sides to it. It doesn't matter what. The yin and the yang. So the key and this is not my original to me, this is just my study has been. Do you want me to keep looking there?
No, I'm looking there to make sure it's still on because it doesn't cut off.
I could look there.
I
look weird though when I'm looking at me and I look really weird.
I can't look at myself, but I'm looking to make sure we're still connected. That's all.
Good. And I'm just doing it because you're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
That's herd bonding, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We copy each other. The Taoist wisdom is, and this is what I spent my life interpreting and trying to explain to myself primarily, and then to everyone else. We are originally in our back. We're born, when we take form in the womb.
Yeah.
We're a spine.
A spine. And
we, on a cellular level, we grow from the spine outwards. So the original self is actually the spine, and when you think of it, your backbone is the main kind of solid.
The main hub.
Yeah, it's the core of you on a physical level. And when we're born, we're in there, usually up to the age of 3, 4, before you start school. and you have to interact with the outside world in any big way, ideally, you will be in your back most of the time.
Right.
As soon as you go to this alien culture at school, however lovely it is, and you have to perform in some way to fit into a system, even if it's a very loose, kind of modern, nice, happy system, you're performing, and it draws you forwards because your sense organs perceive everything going on in front of you.
Right.
And because it's very exacting, challenging, exciting, intriguing, you come forwards to meet it, like a novice driver sits forwards near the windscreen.
Yeah.
And what that does is, let me explain now.
Yeah.
Significance of that. The front of your body is where the front of the brain is where you project the story that you've got that describes life to yourself.
Right.
You pick this story up when you're a tiny kid, so you don't know much about anything, so it's all mixed up nonsense mostly. Mm-hmm. It's fed to you through religious training, school training, parental training, whatever it is, language, stories, all kinds of stuff. You create a story to describe reality to yourself.
Right.
And that goes on in the front of your brain. You react to the story you're telling yourself because you're not seeing reality. You're seeing, like a monster instead of your mother, instead of your dad walking in the shadow of the room and he looks like a monster, whatever it is. You get scared of what you're imagining rather than what's actually there. Or you'll get happy about sort of like something that you're fetishizing, like your milk bottle or your teddy bear or whatever, thinking that is really making you happy. In fact, it's just a bit of old, soft, cuddly toy nonsense. Yeah. So it's all about stories, right? And you react to the stories in your belly. So there's all this thing going on in the front of the body, this feedback loop from the front of the brain down to the belly. There's also all your organs working all the time. They're all in the front as well. Plus, the front is exposed. The belly is soft and open. The face is really vulnerable. The throat is vulnerable. The groin is vulnerable. And when anywhere is vulnerable, it's insecure. So the atmosphere of the front of the body and the brain is one of insecurity and noise and activity and illusion, lots of illusion, wasted energy about illusion. And when you've been drawn forwards because of you're seeing everything going on in front of you, you come forwards to meet it. Yeah. And around about the age of 5, you're usually pretty much stuck there in the front of your body. You are then insecure, noisy, kind of in a kind of a mad feedback loop of imaginary stuff that isn't really happening. What do they think of me? Oh, they don't like me. You don't even know if they like you or not. Yeah. He thinks I'm this or that. All the projection that people do.
Christ, you get that in the magic world like you wouldn't believe.
We get it. Look at the whole.
Well, the real world. Yeah, the real world. Yeah.
What's real about you anyway? Yeah. And that's the point. It's not real. It's all imaginary. It's all a story that everybody has running, and everybody's story somehow mysteriously fits together. I mean, look. We're in England now. Very, very hard to argue with that.
Impossible.
We're in England now. Well, we're not really. I mean, that's just a story. What we are is on a bit of land that the sea hasn't come over yet, basically. Yeah. And so we call it England. It's got all these customs. Oh, that's what it means to be English. It's not. It's just stories. The logo is a flag. The jingle is the ident, if you like, is the anthem or whatever. Yeah. It's a story. But we believe it really, really strongly to the point people will kill for it.
And then we live through our story.
So, that's where most people are in the front of their bodies pretty much most of the time. Being prey to the yin and the yang of it all. So when it's going bad, it's like, and when it's going good, it's like, but it's really quite a painful reality. Hence why people are numbing themselves with antidepressants and all the other shit that people are putting down, and screen addiction, everything. Well, so the Taoist thing is that I'll calm down. Yeah. The Taoist thing is that that's fine. You want to have fun in the front of yourself, go ahead. However, if you learn to sit in your back, you get a totally different experience because the back, there's nothing going on in there. It's pretty solid. It's well protected. The muscles are really strong. The spine is there, and it's silent and still. So when you sit in your back, you become silent, still, strong, and solid, and constant. You're no longer prey to the yin and the yang of it all, because in the back there's just the original self, the subconscious mind, if you like, the hunter-gatherer brain that's just sitting there looking. It's not involved with stories. It's just sitting, being, and in being feels delight, an innate, natural delight. Even if it's shitty what's going on, it's still like, wow, this is exciting, isn't it? I'm alive. I've got the gift of all gifts. And there's no, I don't care if it goes this way or that way. Obviously, it would be nicer if it was sweet and not horrible. But I know, because of the yin and the yang, that if it's nice now, it will be horrible tomorrow. And if it's horrible now, it'll be nice tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it keeps swinging around. So there's no point avoiding this or wanting that. It
all arises and it passes away. Nothing is permanent.
Nothing is. And so if you learn to sit in your back, all the time and observe your thoughts, observe your feelings, you then have the agency to be in command of it all rather than it being in command of you. With your heart open so you can love everybody, you feel the love, but you're in the back watching it all rather than being lost in it all.
Yeah.
And that's the trick. I don't know if I did it justice.
You did it justice. Yeah, that was amazing. We've actually got a question. Is that a question? For Craig, he says, so are you saying that life is like a performance and we are acting through it?
Yes, very much so, Craig. I say that, Shakespeare said it when he did this, but no, definitely, it's all a show. Of course it's a show, because you think about it. And each of us is required to play a variety of roles, or a variety of characters, or maybe just one character. And the job is to play the role fully with all of yourself, really, isn't it? And if you think about it, if you open up a hotel, the lobby of the hotel looks really, really grand and everything, and the bedrooms are all done nicely. What you don't see is the effluent moving through the pipes.
Yeah.
What you don't see is the chambermaid and the messes cleaning technicians.
Yeah, the cleaning technicians.
And the mess that the people leave behind for them to clear up, for example. And it's the same with us as people. You don't go around exposing all your complexes to people. You don't go around exposing all your insecurities. You walk around doing a show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And no matter how cool you are, that's what you're doing. And you just, hopefully, you're doing a good show. But like method acting it properly, not just pretending. They're the ones, the people who are pretending, there's a lot of them around, all the pretending ones, that's, to me, is a bit mediocre. You want to do good method acting like you do.
I try my best.
But this is also what interests me a lot at the moment. I'll shut up if you want me to.
No, please. This is what we're here for. A deep dive into the psyche of the...
modern politics. Right. I'm not going to get political.
No, but it is happening. We've got an election, and we've got a Prime Minister who's a performer.
A great performer and a real comedian.
And an opposition leader who is not a performer.
Yeah.
I would argue that he's less of a showman than Boris Johnson.
Yeah, or a different style of showmanship.
Yeah.
And then in America, you've got Trump. And what we're seeing is the kind of normalization of lies.
Right.
And when called on it, but he lied in that. It's that's what you do at an election, or that's what you do if you're a politician. It's like, oh yeah. And so what it's come to now is, if the person who's doing the lying has enough conviction, it seems, that all they have to do is lie with the right tone of voice, with the right conviction. Everybody goes, well lied, that's a good lie. We know you're not telling the truth, but you did it right.
Yeah.
If you don't do it right, then they go, oh no, you're no good, you've got to go. But as long as it almost seems it doesn't even matter if you're not telling any truth, as long as you lie well. Oh, you lied with the right sound. Okay, that will do. We'll accept that. So it's like normalized this complete disingenuousness, that it's okay for and that's fascinating, because the very fabric of society is being, the warp and the weft of it is being stretched completely into something new. Because what is true then? Yeah.
What is true?
What is true? Yeah. Well, there's no objective truth. We can't know objective truth, only subjective, because the observer affects the field. One of the things I do discipline myself to do, though, is to, rather than judge a politician who I've not even met, to try and put myself in their shoes, especially if I really don't like them, for example. And imagine what it's like being them. And that's really interesting, because it gives you a totally different angle on it all. And then you realise, look, actually, this is all a play that we're all involved in. Somebody has to play that role. Bless them for playing that role. I'm very fortunate to play this role. It's a much easier role to play. So good. I'm really, respect you, even if I don't like what you're doing or where you're going with it. You're playing a hard role there. That's interesting when it's like that. Like we're all family, rather than you're not in my family. I don't have to like you, but I can love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my discipline.
I don't have to like you, but I can love you. Beautiful. Right, have we been done now? We've been on here for... we've got, I reckon... we'll keep... If you've got any questions for my guest, the Barefoot Doctor, get them up now.
You look very handsome in that.
You're very kind, thank you.
Yeah.
This is my these are my broadcasting glasses that I wear for my lives.
I feel a very beautiful friendship, a beautiful bond.
We do.
That started in Jago,
yeah.
Jago,
Back in the day.
In Shoreditch.
Back in 90
In
something.
Hoxton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing a thing, whatever it was, a night, you know.
Yeah.
And you came up after, and I think we just like friends immediately.
Yeah.
And it wasn't opportunistic. It wasn't like, I can climb on your thing or any of that shit. It was just brothers immediately.
Yeah.
And it was at the time of Handbook for Heroes when that came out.
Yes, which I believe I have here. I can even show you my copy of that. Can I? Hang on. Keep talking.
The Spiritual Guide to Fame and Fortune.
I've got Handbook for the Urban Warrior here though. That was the one.
But yeah, so the Handbook for Heroes.
My guest's first book.
The hero thing is about performing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Somehow you are performing the role of hero.
It really is. Actually, if I can plug that, if you want a book on how to write and how to get a project together and get it out from start to finish and do that in a spiritually sound way where you don't lose your marbles and you create something beautiful, the book Handbook for Heroes is the one. Quick one. No question. I'm really enjoying this. Thanks, guys. Always great to hear perspectives. Thank you, Holly. Yeah. Handbook for Heroes is a fantastic book.
Very nice of you. You're damn good at. I wish I could have you with me all the time.
No, all the books are great, but that's my particular. Can
you imagine us on QVC or something?
That and the original.
So many books. It's brilliant.
This is the original. This isn't Handbook for Heroes. This is Handbook for the Urban Warrior. This is a meditation, Tai Chi guide to life, the universe. It's Taoism put into really cool 90s speak. And
it's funny when you say, well, I was a big figure, counterculture figure
in the 90s.
I used to be famous.
No, but you still are. But the 90s was the nightclub time. That was the nightclubbing days. That was the...
I wasn't doing too bad in that 2000s.
You're doing amazing in the... You're doing amazing now.
But you know what I'm saying.
The work changes in the world, but yeah.
It does. It's very interesting, though, because it's like when I talk about someone, like he was a really big, like Ronnie Lang. He was a big counterculture hero in the late 60s. Yeah. And then you talking about me like oh, wow.
Oh, no, but I wasn't trying to regulate you to the past.
No. I thought it was fun. I don't care. It's fun. Then I could just go home and rest. If I was just in the past.
I just joined in, so happy I caught you live finally. Yay! Silver Fox Design is in the house. I met her in America doing Magi Fest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look, the magicians watch this because I sometimes talk about I often talk. That's what is. These started off as like little chatting to magicians about magic.
Can't you do a card trick?
I can't do a card trick. I can't fool the camera.
We do this so many times, mate. Every time I see you, I've got to do a trick. Yeah, and you always say no for ages, and eventually you do one.
I shall resist the impulse to do a trick this night. Hey Frank, how are you? So really quick before we go, any last minute questions from my guest, the Barefoot Doctor, about consciousness and meditating and things of that nature? Would you say meditating was important for a performer? I personally advocate as when I'm teaching people not teaching people, when people ask me about performing and creating, one of the first things I always go to is learn how to calm down the noise, learn how to meditate, learn how to be present to your audience and to yourself and to your creativity. And then I've got little things.
So we're talking about emptying the mind.
Emptying the mind. Do you have any little trick tips for us on that before we leave?
Yeah, I just said it all.
Or to get into the back?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, it's simple, right?
Yeah.
Tense everything up. I wouldn't normally say this is just right now. Tense everything up.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, hold your breath, and then go blah, blah. And then just feel that relaxation spread for a bit, especially at the back of your neck.
Yeah.
And you get a feeling like you've got an eye in the back of your neck that's opening up. So you can see behind you. Start listening behind you. And what this does is it opens up the space behind you. Then the normal tendency is to rush forwards towards everything you want.
Yeah.
Instead of that, rush backwards, which is actually a lot more natural. You start rushing backwards inside, just away and away and away from everything there is. So you're kind of creating a bit of a vacuum in front of you, into which is being drawn all the things that you need now. Right, so as you move backwards and backwards away from all objects of desire or aversion, you breathe slowly, you let your heart open in the front, you feel yourself connect to all humankind and all sentient beings everywhere. You allow your love to flow because your beautiful, unique gift, your love, you let it flow. And then from the back of your head, you just gaze through the middle of the forehead into infinity. And as you do that, you just try and discern what your true nature's intention is. for the outcome in every situation. So for this one, for example, that everybody that watches this goes away feeling much warmer and bigger and more beautiful about themselves and about everything, and spreads that to other people. So goodness comes from it. So that's that I'm feeling good, you're feeling good, that we feel good. No, I can't really put it in words. That's my intention. So you have your intention, you let that inform your heart, and you just sit into infinity. And when you come back, you put your back into it. So you come back with your back put into it, and here you are, and you're just strong and beautiful.
There you go. Oh, this is the stuff there. Right, I'm going to end this Taoist deep dive on that while we're all high on nothing, unless there's a question. Just joined in, so I caught you live finally. Hey guys, hey Frank. Handbook for Heroes was the book that I recommended. Yes, Barefoot Doctor has many. Stevens, but the Barefoot Doctor is how he. Is it still the Barefoot Doctor? Because now they're republished. Is it still?
No, now it's Anne Rogers.
Anne Rogers. No, is it Stephen Russell or the Barefoot Doctor?
No, the Barefoot Doctor.
Right.
No, but you need to go to waywardpublications.com. That's what
I was getting to. Right, yeah. So you can get the Doctor's books now from waywardpublications.com. Wayward Publications, as it's .com. Handbook for Heroes is the one that we were talking about earlier, but they're all brilliant, and there's a wide variety of subjects there. There's meditation books, exercise books, all sorts of stuff.
AmpedHEAD.
And AmpedHEAD, which we were talking about. Let's not forget AmpedHEAD. That's coming out soon. Is that out now? Or is that out soon?
No. The AmpedHEAD volumes are all out. They're amazing, yeah.
Okay, so AmpedHEAD, which we can find where?
Wayward Publications.
Oh, Wayward Publications. AmpedHEAD was the downloads we were talking about earlier, where you get like the tunes, the beats that get you into a nice state, synchronise the hemispheres of the brain, and when you're all happy and dancing, you start getting these lovely positive suggestions that go right in deep. And I have done AmpedHEAD, and it is beautiful. It really is.
And the microdoses to follow soon.
And that's to follow soon. That's going to be the next thing. But AmpedHEAD got me through many a long flight. Let me tell you, just plugged that in, closed my eyes, got to the other end feeling amazing. So that's it. Thank you for coming to this live session with my splendid guest. A round of applause for the Barefoot Doctor.
Thank you.
I'll see you on the next one of these. And there you go. Be lovely to each other. Take care. Good night. Thanks for coming.